What is going on, people? It's your boy Astro, aka the Galaxy Shogun. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for all the latest updates. I am putting out a lot of content now, so make sure you do that. If you enjoy the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Today we're diving into the explosive events of One Piece chapter 1119, titled Emeth. Let's get started. Wow, what a chapter this was. It was packed with action, it was packed with revelations, a bit of soft confirmation, so let's go ahead and break it down. First off, we see Kaku reluctantly allowing Stussy to escape. This little plot line here with the CP0 agents and Stussy and the whole betrayal is interesting to see. We always knew that Kaku had some humanity in him. Definitely a lot more than Rob Lucci, but it's cool to see that, they really do care about each other, and especially earlier this arc, we get to see how much Lucci cares about, the other CP0 people, especially Kaku, since they've been, together since they were young, and even in CP9. So right now the tension's high, but Stussy makes her move. Meanwhile, Luffy decides that the only way to deal with the five elders is to knock them away from Egghead, which honestly a pretty good idea. Like, if you can't really take them out, just throw them somewhere else so you could escape. So good thinking on you, Luffy. No one could say Luffy's not, smart, doesn't have battle IQ, because that's a pretty reasonable solution if you ask me. So, using some teamwork, we have Sanji, Franky, and Gear 5, the Gear 5 twins I should call them, Bonney and Luffy at this point, all teaming up. Luffy basically turns into something that looks like Tank Man, Gear 4 Tank Man, and he's basically just going to be a cannonball to hit the Elder. So everyone's loading up their attacks. Sanji goes Ifrit. He actually uses Ifrit Hell's Memories, which that's going to be friggin' lit, no pun intended, when that comes out and when it's animated. Like, that's really cool. And we see Franky using a new move too, as well as Bonney using what looks to be like a Gear 3rd-ish attack. It looks to be like a mini, I don't want to say a mini Badron gun, because that would be, I guess there's much better moves to compare it to, but she's using a Gear 5 technique that kind of looks like a rock, one of the rock attacks, which is like, the kind of a miniature version of an elephant gun, while in Gear 5, so it's hard to say what we're going to classify that as, but, she's using Gear 5, so we at least get to see that. So after using that teamwork, the group manages to knock Mars away, and he goes flying like Team Rocket style, like blasting off. So that was a pretty cool combo attack, and I think Mars will probably be out of the picture. It seems like within the next few chapters we'll be leaving Egghead, so I would assume that's it for Mars, at least for now. And it's good because it means that he hasn't necessarily been defeated, he's just been kind of wrung out, This chapter, like I mentioned earlier, gives us some fantastic confirmations, or I should say soft confirmations. First, Franky can use Haki? Like, let's go. I mean, at this point we should have assumed that. Like, he took down a Toby Robo, which, you'd have to assume that you'd be able to, or you'd need to be able to, if you're going to take out an Ancient Zone, let alone a Toby Robo from Kaido's crew. So, though we could have probably assumed that, we have Luffy saying, oh, you guys are using Haki, and he doesn't specify to say just Sanji, because we know Sanji can, or just Bonney, where it visibly is. On her fist you could clearly see that she's using Arm and Haki, but Franky as well. So the fact that he didn't single out any names, basically it's like a soft confirmation that Franky's using Haki, so that definitely is really cool to see. And this is kind of a game changer for our favorite cyborg, because now that we've gotten this confirmation, it's like, what's next? After this arc, I think a lot of people are expecting him to get some sort of boost on his tech or his equipment from Vegapunk, and I'm hoping that once we leave, he goes, oh, by the way, yeah, I took a bunch of Vegapunk's things, he told me how to do X and Y. I'm hoping that we still get some good Franky buffs for our favorite cyborg. Speaking of confirmations, how about Bonney? So, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, she uses like a kind of rock attack in Gear 5th. She could use Gear 5 abilities, which honestly should have been obvious given her connection to Luffy and what we've seen last chapter. I mean, I don't think they were just going to do it for optics, right? I don't think she became Nika to not use his abilities. But, seeing it confirmed is still good, I guess, because I guess there were some people arguing against me that she wasn't going to use any Gear 5 abilities, which obviously we know how it goes by the end of the chapter, but, let's not take away from the fact that she's using one of the most busted powers in the series. Like, she's using Haki, and I don't think that's Advanced Conqueror's Haki, but if the anime decides to make it Advanced Conqueror's Haki, then I will be back to take a victory lap. Just saying. Atlas decides to check on the status of the Thousand Sunny, a crucial move as things heat up. Then, the video Den Den Mushi comes back online for, what is this, the third time, displaying more of Vegapunk's message. York explains to the elders that they need to destroy it completely. Yeah. because this is getting a little tired. Every chapter, off, on, off, on. So, beyond that, Jupiter releases the Cypher Pole agents from his body because he had sucked them up earlier in an attempt to suck up the giant warrior pirate ship, which is crazy that he's able to, take the ship in. That just goes to show the scale of Jupiter, because, I mean, it's a giant ship. Like, let's really think about that. So Luffy steps in to stop him just as Bonney runs out of energy and reverts back to her child form. This was a critical moment, and it was critical because it shows Bonney's limits, which part of my problem with last week, it's like, where do we go with this? Like, Bonney's Nika, is she going to just be using ACOG attacks? Like, is she going to scale to Luffy? Like, not necessarily the scaling being the problem, but just like, if she's getting, the freest power in the series, is she going to have the same extent that he does? It's not about who she could beat and who she's stronger than and where she places, but, I'm glad to see that there is at least some limitations with Bonney using this power as of right now. Who's to say what happens in the future, especially if she joins the crew, but as of right now, great to see that there's some sort of limits. On to the Iron Giant, or should I say, Emeth. The name of this chapter. We have Emeth, the Iron Giant, stepping up to stop Workery's attack. So Emeth, the Iron Giant, steps up and stops Workery's attack, which is great. Finally, we have this Iron Giant doing something of value. And the weird part here is we seemingly have Joy Boy, the original Joy Boy, instructing him, or I don't know what it is, like Emeth thinking inside his mind, to remember him when the time is right. So, is this like something Joy Boy built into Emeth? Like, I don't know what's going on. Is Joy Boy currently communicating with him? It's important to note that Bonnie's now at a Gear 5, which is great, because that confirms she is not the real Joy Boy. And honestly, we dodged a bullet there. Like, I was really hoping there wasn't going to be like a shared prophecy thing between the both of them. Bonney just imitating Luffy, which even the Gorosei at the beginning of the chapter mentions that, Bonnie's just an imitation. It's good. Still not great that she could copy such a busted power, for sure, because basically she could still go, give me a Kaido-ish future. But, at a bare minimum, her being able to copy things, or copying Nika, it's still based on her limitations, and she is not Joy Boy. She's not, like, sharing a prophecy with Luffy, so... this is one of those cases that I could say I'm happy to be wrong, because obviously after last chapter there was the potential for her to, like, use Advanced Conquerors or King's Coding or anything like that, and as crazy as that sounds, like, if you see Bonney turn into Nika, she could do anything. She could basically do anything, and in my mind and for a lot of other people, that could have possibly included all of that crazy stuff. So, very, very happy, cannot understate how happy I am to be wrong in this case, to see her basically, her using Gear 5 in any capacity is wild, but we are very glad for the limitations this chapter, Oda. Thank you so much, because everyone had the right to be concerned after chapter 1118. But this chapter definitely gave us some clarity, so thank you for that, Oda. It was also really cool to see some cool cameos this chapter. We got to see Katakuri, which, I think Katakuri is pretty overrated. I know I'm probably going to get downvoted for that, but it was cool to see that he's okay after that crushing L he took in the cover story and losing Pudding. And we also see our boy Gaimon. So, seeing cameos every once in a while does feel good, and it was cool to see everyone. So, overall, what a great, amazing chapter. What do you think about Franky Haki and Bonney's Gear 5 abilities? Are you relieved about Bonney's limitations like I am? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button and share the video with your fellow One Piece fans. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep sailing the high seas of adventure. And to everybody that has recently subscribed, I'm slowly growing. We're slowly getting there. This is a sincere thank you. This has been my dream for so long, and I will continue to put out content until I am at the apex of this community. Have a great day, have a great week, have a great life. Peace.